you can develop things like ulcerative colitis. You can develop lots of somatized diseases, right? But you can also undevelop them very quickly with three principles, because you
Hmm.
have an understanding of how you've got subconscious thought coming in, and then you've got thinking that you add to the process.
I'm still wondering if three principles is trumping your homeopathy.
Well, it always will. When I first time I interviewed Ian Watson, I was just like, oh no, I just feel like I'm on this sort of I'd felt for a while like I was on the bus out of homeopathy, because I was
Mm.
going more and more toward the three principles kind of reasoning. I hadn't studied three principles yet, but people kept saying to me, "Oh, you've done three principles, haven't you?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't even know what three principles is," but enough people said it to me that I thought, well, I've got to go and explore what this thing is. But yes, I was like with somatic homeopathy and so on, which is a lot what Heather was describing a minute ago. It's very similar. I was kind of finding myself moving further in, if you like, to the
Hmm.
body, moving further into our responsibility, our thinking processes being, our reality, the reality we're creating, being really responsible for what we're experiencing health wise. I was moving more and more that way. But there's still a
Hmm.
place for 3P is really important. That's why another reason why I'm bringing it to practitioners that I train, not just that they go through that process, but they can take their clients through that process. It's that,
because we're so
yes,
disconnected from our experience, but it's also a way of avoiding ourselves
yeah,
because we're not tuning into what we already know because they already know the answer. They just don't
that's
want to
it.
face whatever the answer means they need to
Yeah.
do or see or feel or know.
Because they mistake responsibility and blame.
Yeah.
Because in our culture we do this a lot. If you really think about it, if you lived in a culture as a child where you took responsibility, you were praised for taking responsibility, and then an adult says to you, so what do you think would be a good solution to this? And then the kids come up with awesome, awesome solutions, which they then are very willing to carry out. I know, because I used to teach Montessori, and before I taught Montessori, I taught in, very difficult circumstances in Birmingham in the UK, and I was kind of known as the peace teacher, because, well, I was a sociologist before I was a teacher. So what I did was I brought a lot of sociological understanding to my teaching, and so I would bring a lot about unconditional positive regard, about self-responsibility without blame. No fear, force, and guilt. Just hold responsibility for what happened without beating on yourself,